Welcome into Blockchain Basement. My name is TJ. On today's episode, we're going to have a really good time talking about why Bitcoin isn't going to zero tomorrow. The US government might run out of money as early as Friday, and top AI tokens that will make you money into the future and beyond. All this and more on today's Blockchain Basement. Bum, 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 bum. You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're gonna screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What do you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're gonna get back below there, but if we do, that's kind of where we
Welcome into Blockchain Basement. We're gonna have a really good episode for you guys today. The Nick Tater is back 2 days in a row. I don't know if you guys can handle it. We've got the lovely Hannah Hughes. Drew, the Druth is out there. Crypto Prepper. Keep your Druth hats on. And back on the board, the lovely Biscuit Jesus.
There he is.
If you ask him nicely, he will.
Today and today only.
Yeah.
No, are you not here? You're here tomorrow.
Oh, you're going back out, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys,
And
plus
then
one
I'm
in the
here
chat
for a
if you
long
want
time.
BJ to actually commit his time to hit network.
Yeah, if you guys love BJ, let me see a plus one in the chat. And of course, shout out to all of you guys. The Kid, Co-Man, Corey, Michael King, The Deadwood, Juice Toez, Crypto Stevo, Ricky Donk, Paper Hands, Moonboy, TJ's Chicken Salad. Oh, by the way, I did see earlier, somebody says they're only here to see what I'm having for lunch. We are having Moe's, or is it Willie's? Might be Willie's for lunch today.
Willie's?
Fluffy the Sheep, Corey, Flippin' Frank, Michael King, all of that and more. We love all of you guys. If you could, right here, right at the beginning, smash that like button. Get that news out there. We've got Hong Kong pumping the price of Bitcoin today,
Look
which
at
we're
all
going
these
to look
plus
at.
ones in the chat.
Hey, look at that. Look at all those people that love
They
BJ.
want you here all the time, BJ.
And Hannah, tell us what you were very excited this morning. What are you drinking right now?
Oh my god, it's a monster. It's a pink strawberry monster, but it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my whole
she was so
life.
excited carrying
Look
that
at
in.
it.
Yeah,
It's
new,
chat.
new flavor. I'm a big fan of strawberry flavored most
kawaii.
things. So yeah,
It's very kawaii.
Actually, hey, shout out to these two. Actually, while we've got you both on set at the same time,
Oh,
your super viral clip, "Everybody Hates Liquid Death" is what I'll call it. Over 3 million views at this point. So
Wow.
bringing the attention to the
There it
basement,
is.
doing it for all the blockchain enthusiasts out there. And that's what you got to do. You got to get attention to help people learn about, focus on financial things, and then hopefully it changes their future and allows them to experience the same freedom that we're working towards.
And
So.
Sponsorship? Liquid Death?
Liquid Death. Where you
honestly,
at, man?
Liquid Death. If I haven't proven myself as a ambassador, and Hannah, what else do we got to do?
Right.
Okay.
Look, we're drinking drinks here every single day. This is pretty much water, Just saying.
Come on, guys.
So all right, we'll do a quick check on the markets and then come back and chat a little bit more. Volume still down pretty low, 30 billion. Price is holding on that 27.2 level pretty well. Like we were talking yesterday, it seems to be getting, losing strength, and every time it falls below, but it is pumping back above. It seems like a lot of the traders are saying the longer we can stay here, as long as we don't lose any of these key levels, if we can stay around 27, which it's getting harder and harder to do. Every time we lose it, I'm getting less confident. But we are holding it. It does seem like if we can hold it for the next week or two, we get some positive news maybe with the debt raising, the debt ceiling, and then things could really take off. Ethereum had a little bit of a pump as well. It was, I think, right at 1805, 1800 yesterday, coming in at 1850 now. Let's look at pumpers for the day. Render, another good day for Render. We're going to talk about that a little bit later if you guys couldn't tell from the title. Immutable X, Toncoin. We got Pepe, Kava, a lot of those. Let's look at the weekly. 43% on the week for
It's felt great.
Render.
It's felt great to listen to take advice from Nick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, direct.
Everything
advice.
I say is financial advice.
Yeah, Nick, been a big Render fan for a long time, since the beginning of the year. So if you guys have been listening to that on this show, even specifically, he's been talking about it quite a lot. So, they busted you taking the picture. So
I'm doing my B-reel.
there you go.
Sexy
Your B-reel.
selfie.
And Synthetics pumping INJ, another one we've talked about a decent amount on this channel. I did notice some news talking about a new interoperable NFT standard coming to Cosmos. That might be something to keep an eye on as we go forward. But let's talk about why we're pumping today. That's what everybody wants to know. Why did the Bitcoin price go up? You hear us talk a lot on this channel about liquidity, right? Global market liquidity, new money into the market. What the Federal Reserve is doing obviously has a really big impact. That's the United States liquidity, but also other nations around the world, People's Bank of China, Japan, that sort of thing has a big impact. We've talked a lot about Hong Kong recently and the way their monetary policy can start to impact things. And that's part of what we saw happen today. Bitcoin jumps to key price at resistance as Hong Kong opens crypto trading for retail investors. And now again, retail, this is not the same. And this is kind of a precursor of what you can imagine happening if regulation was to be passed in a dramatic way for big money to get involved. So retail traders just in Hong Kong, just getting it approved, the part of this obviously is speculation, but part of it is real money now entering back into the system.
Yeah.
And anytime you get new liquidity, you can feel it almost immediately because it's desperate. That's what we were talking about yesterday.
Hot.
It gets sucked up immediately. So, I mean, I know, Drew, you were on the morning stream. You guys talked about this a little bit.
Yep.
I know you chatted with Ben. How do you think, how much of an impact do you think this is going to have? I know it's just a short-term thing. We'll get into the story in a little bit.
I think we're going to have a really good next few months in Bitcoin, honestly. I think the head and shoulders kind of thesis is played out. I think that stab down to, I think, 25.7 that we got over the last week. Not a lot of people brought it up in the overall technical analysis because it was a very short-term wick down. But I've been saying that once we get down to that 25 level, if we can just wick down there, then we're off to the races to move back on upwards. And just on, that standpoint, I'm still operating on the thesis that I have a long bias. Again, I did have a short-term bias to get down to 25. I have a longer bias. I've been trading that way. It's been going really great. But I'm a scalp trader, so I'm in and out with 20 or 30% increase, sometimes 100, but I'm trying to do the $30 to Valhalla challenge right
Drew
now.
does 50x leverage for a couple weeks, and now he's like, well, as a TA expert.
Well, no, I mean, it's fun to operate that because I got
As a
tired.
seasoned financial
I got
analyst.
tired of sitting there like, that's going to go up. And then I just watch it go up and I'm like, I have spot that's going up and stuff. But it's fun to turn the heat up and, get into some horribly degenerate, meme coin trades, see what I can do there.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Corey Harden says, isn't liquid death just water in a can?
It is.
Dude, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Water is the essential
You
element.
don't get it.
There you go.
It's a molecule.
All right,
Not
Or
anymore.
a-
Damn.
Oh
DJ.
my God.
Thanks for Master Science. guy.
Damn.
Dihydrogen monoxide.
Okay. What you were just saying. What was I going to say about Drew? Oh yeah, Drew's like 6 weeks away from being a full blown quant. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He just
Quant, yeah.
he just keeps going into it.
Hillbilly quant.
I'm going to come to you with this, Nick, because I want to take get your take on this because this announced today. It goes into effect June 1. I'll read this blurb in just a second, but I think this is going to start to have a lot of the effects are going to be a little bit more intangible. So Hong Kong's Security and Futures Commission, which would be basically their version of the SEC, and it's basically their SFC, announced that it would accept applications from exchanges to offer crypto trading to retail investors from June 1, adding that approved tokens need a 12-month track record and substantial market capitalization. The SFC said registered exchanges would be barred from providing stablecoin and interest-bearing instruments. So obviously that's pretty interesting and it's pretty specific. It's setting some sort of a framework out. Now, this is Hong Kong. This isn't the United States. This isn't the EU, but it's kind of what they can use as a little bit. Think of it as a test net, maybe for some of these larger nations. They have a little bit more economic freedom, a little more ambiguity over there as to how everything's going and why. So they're rolling this out as a test. And so I was going to ask you, Nick, do you think as other nations start to put out their policy, so they basically said as long as it's been out there for a year and has a decent market cap, we're gonna roll with it and we're gonna allow people to trade it. It's gonna be open to retail. We're gonna basically approve it, assuming that they can pay the fees. Does that start to put pressure on other major nations like the United States, like the EU, like Australia? We've already seen Dubai is already starting to put out their somewhat favorable framework. Is this going to start to become a domino effect where it really starts to put the pressure on the United States to act quickly?
In regards
to regulation, and we're regulating crypto basically and coming up with a framework.
No.
So
one word, China.
Mm-hmm.
So this is there's a lot of people. Someone said there's a lot of degens in China. Actually, there are, but there's a lot more people that can't bank in China. Like banking in China is a scam. Like here it's a Ponzi. There it is like 100% a scam. And you can't put your money anywhere in China. That's why there was this whole gigantic real estate bubble. So people are putting their money into Bitcoin and other types of cryptocurrencies. So Hong Kong is like the nexus. It's the Las Vegas of Asia, and it's where everyone goes to launder their money. So Hong Kong and China needs Hong Kong, and Hong Kong needs China to launder all their money and to bring in money from the West and to clean it up. So this is all just part of the BRICS strategy. You're going to start seeing more and more BRICS nations adopting crypto and really welcome it. Not stablecoins, because F that. They don't want to have to deal with a dollar. They want people to get used to trading in ETH, trading in Bitcoin, trading in Litecoin, whatever it is. They want people comfortable with that, and they want that liquidity, and they want it to get institutionalized ASAP, because they know over the next 5-10 years, de-dollarization is happening, and China is going to slowly wean itself off of American debt. So they have that guillotine over our heads. Hong Kong is just the first step in that. I'm very bullish on all crypto projects in Southeast Asia and Asia Greater. So that is where the growth in crypto is going to be. The United States is going to continue to drop the soap when it comes to crypto. And they're going to be dropping it right in front of Xi Jinping for the next 10 years.
You think so? Okay.
Yep.
I think it. I mean, I agree with what you're saying as far as the way Hong Kong fits into the kind of global game, chessboard, as you will. But I do think the more nations that start to lay out positive regulatory framework for crypto, it does start to put more pressure on the United States. Now, I agree they're going to drag their feet because they're trying to defend the dollar at all cost. That's their biggest asset, I would say, in the global economic landscape. So they're going to try to control it as best they can and prop up the dollar. But every time, I mean, Hong Kong is no El Salvador. You know, we know the IMF was unhappy with the decision El Salvador made. They put a lot of pressure on them to back off of that. And they're not making it national, legal tender. It's very different. They're not doing the exact same thing. However, this is another step in the direction pro crypto. This is the future. People are trading it. And they even mention it in this article here. It says that Hong Kong's decision to greenlight crypto trading for retail investors does not mean there will be a flood of demand for cryptocurrencies, as local traders are probably already accessing the market through offshore venues, kind of like what Nick was saying. Like, people that really want to trade these things are most likely already got their hands on it. They're not waiting for the government's approval. Nevertheless, the announcement is a quote welcome reminder that crypto adoption pool is likely to grow considerably over the next year and beyond. And I think that's really more of what it is. It's more symbolic than anything else. It's more another data point on a graph that's showing a trend of adoption going up and to the right, whether you're talking retail, whether you're talking sovereign, national. It's definitely trending, again, in the more positive direction. As long as prices remain below the neck, this is that head and shoulders Drew was talking about here, that a lot of people are saying, this is this key line here right around that 27. If we lose it, it's going to get a lot more difficult. Let's talk about the treasuries. We'll skip this. Let's come here to this. So this is a little bit what we were talking about earlier. I wanted to show this for the volume levels. Or maybe we did cover this. Volumes are drying up fast, already back to early January levels. Typical characteristics of low volume periods. So this is something to keep in mind. Like, if we stay in this 30 billion, anything under 30 billion, or really 35 billion for the 24-hour volume, if we get 35 to 25 billion 24-hour volume, these are things you're going to see a lot. Volatility is suppressed. Obviously, you stay in a really tight range. Chop/bleed becomes the default, which that's what we've seen over the last few weeks. Now, again, it's the default. It's not always. You can still have outliers. Like, I think what we're seeing right now is some bulls really defending this 27,000 level. Speculative rotations are short-lived. Talking about meme coin rotation. You get a little speculative pump. Binary you get something going off on one ecosystem. Say some stuff's popping off on Cardano, or some stuff's popping over on Binance Smart Chain for a little while, and what used to last 2 months of mania maybe now is 4 days or a week. And that's something we're starting to see now. Momentum is low and fake outs are more common, meaning, and this is, I think, something Drew and I were talking about when it comes to price action, where you start to get a positive momentum. A lot of people are really bullish, but it just doesn't carry nearly as far as it does in a bull market. It feels like we were all hoping, hey, we broke above 30, let's go to 34, let's go to 36, let's go to 38, and we lost steam so much earlier. and then you fall back into that same range. And then structural pressures have a larger impact on price. He's talking about token issuance. So in a bull market, token releases, tokenomics, cliff and shelf life for the team member tokens obviously some of that matters a lot less when there's a lot more volume, a lot more excitement, a lot more volatility within the market. In things like now, it's when you really see like, boom, a big token unlock happens. You're going to more than likely see it in these kind of dead parts of the market. So I thought this was a pretty good indicator of what you can expect, in my opinion, over the next, broadly over the next 6 to 9 months. Now, I do think, talking about some of those short-lived momentum things, I do think we can get little reliefs from the debt ceiling being raised. And I do think if the longer we can stay sideways right now, which we'll look at here in just a second, Don Alt had a pretty good tweet about this, the more bullish it gets, the longer we can hold this level. And if we can get to the debt ceiling, which they're saying June 1st, they could run out of money. I mean, it looks like they're going to run out of money real quick. So some of those things could obviously give us a slight push back up, but I think overall it's going to stay relatively down on the momentum. What are you doing over there, BJ?
I'm tacoing people, and then also currently looking up the BZB Gear color correction guide because I'm having issues getting my camera not to look.
Well, let me distract you a little bit because I was going to come back to this. Somebody asked a question much earlier about ADA staking. Nico Bands, hey, I have a question. I have ADA on my ledger and I'm staking with a Yori wallet. Do I have to withdraw that from Yori wallet, or can I transfer from my ledger to my Trezor and continue to stake?
Well, number one, you're not a weeb. It's Neko, which is Japanese for cat.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what we were talking about. It's as long as their staking address stays the same, they wouldn't have to. But I don't know how a staking address would change at all when moving from wallet to wallet. So more than likely, they will have to redelegate to whatever pool they want.
Yes, I would imagine claim your rewards, unstake, withdraw, move. I don't know how you would take it out of a wallet without unstaking. That's basically what you were saying, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you're going to have, I would imagine you're going to have to claim any rewards you have pending, unstake it, transfer it to a different wallet.
Well,
and
the
then
rewards auto drop into
it does
afterwards.
Okay. Well, there you go. So you shouldn't have any.
But you're an ADA Maxi. Come on.
Well, I mean, on mine, I am. I have to hit the button to claim the rewards on mine, but I do it through Exodus wallet. So
that's why I do mine too.
Ledger jacked up so bad.
They did
by doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, I would recommend. I like Exodus a lot for the staking if you're going to use a different. I mean, Yori works just fine too, but. Yeah, that's essentially how you'd have to do that. And then you were going to update everybody, just so you guys know, ADA pool, NES pool.
You got to throw me under the bus here. But yeah.
Not throw you under the bus. Just tell you. You've been working hard on those pools.
Yeah, so if we go here, we're going to see chat on screen.
Hey,
but this is Pool Tool, which is also a sweet website. And then Sea Explorer is another really good one. But you can look at the past 3 main versions of Cardano CLI, which is command line interface that have come out, which is 135.5, 135.7, and then the newest one, which actually allows for on-chain voting, and then basically they're moving into the Conway era of Voltaire. So there's going to be a lot more voting and things like that. But currently, B Pool and NES Pool are some of the only pools that are in this 32% of fully updated to there. So when you're looking at pools to delegate to, websites like this are great to see like who's actually paying attention, who's actually updating their pools and making sure their KES keys are all rotated and that they continue to mint. But this is a great website for looking at all that.
Yeah, did you get a chance to chat with Crow at all at the event?
Yeah, I told him flagpole 3:00 and he never showed up.
Well, he probably thought that meant something different than what you thought.
Yeah, I talked to him a bunch and he was cool because actually early when I got into Cardano, he was one of the first people I watched.
Yeah.
So
whenever I think he was one of the, I would say, I don't know about the first, I'm sure there was other first, but he was one of the first really big, I mean, same for me, Cardano advocates. When I think of somebody, a YouTube channel that talks Cardano, I always think Crypto Crow and Hoshoshi were the two that, at least I thought, talked about it a lot.
George St. Pierre looked very concerned standing next to Crow.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen George St. Pierre like
Crow's
that.
a big dude.
Yeah.
I had to like go up to hit his shoulder, be like, "Hey man, what's up?" And it's just like you're just like staring straight up. He's seven something. I don't know.
Yeah, he made me feel short.
Yeah. Makes Justin Williams look like a small guy.
Yes.
Crypto Stevo was asking if Allie's okay. Yeah, she was here yesterday. She's in the office today. She's just resting more. Coming up. Baby's coming in July, so the closer we get to that, the more we're trying to rest up. So
baby.
Yeah. And yeah, I did see you guys asking about Twitch. We can't, we have to do YouTube only now. So we appreciate all the support. Wish we could be on Twitch, but it's just, that's their policy. So it is what it is. But if you guys could smash the likes on here, we really do appreciate that. So, all right, here is Crypto Don Alt. You guys know he's one of my favorite ones when it comes to TA. I really like the way he does these threads where he'll post something on May 12th, a very simple structure, you know, as simple as May 18th, a little update basically. And then I think this was yesterday or the day before, given his current update with these levels. So 27,400 has lost its relevance. We've been chopping too hard right below it. Leverage plays are crap right now. No clear setup anywhere due to the chop. That said, the longer this takes, the better for bulls. Another week or two, and I think we'll meander back into the range. So what I like, and I'll pull this in just a touch. Oop, I lost it.
Just give it a little squeeze.
Is how simple this TA is, right? You don't see tons of lines. You don't see tons of boxes. I mean, it's just pretty clear. Like, okay, and this, and Frank, this is probably very similar to using volume profiles. It's just simplified. You don't see it over here, but basically what he's doing, you can see this range here is where there was a lot of volume that consolidated in this range. Clearly there's a lot of volume consolidating here, and then this one as well. We know these are just kind of key levels. Right now we've fallen below this range, but I guess more or less what a lot of these traders are saying is the longer we just trend right along the bottom of this, we should just pop right back up into that. However, if we continue to break down and bang our heads against this resistance gets tougher and tougher. So if we don't break it with authority, like we could go another week or two, and let's see, what is this? Yeah, this is daily.
Yep.
Yeah. So if we go another week or two, you know, we get over here, we see another couple small candles. I imagine we'll be getting an announcement about raising the debt ceiling, whether it's this weekend or next weekend or, you know, sometime soon. And I think we've got some stories about all that political, you know, BS
Circus act,
political theater. You know, they know they're going to do it. They always do it. You know, they're not going to just run out of money on their own watch. Like, it's just so frustrating. But that'll probably push us back up into the range. And then, you know, if we can break out.
One more debt hike to slow the default.
Hey, but crypto's a scam.
Yeah.
I wish the government wasn't like one continuous episode of Reno 911.
It's so true. That's good.
It's like that show is like a documentary for Capitol Hill.
Yeah, or Parks and Rec.
Loved
Parks
that
and Rec.
show.
Yeah.
Loved that
No,
show.
it's Parks and Get Wrecked.
Parks and
That's
Rec.
good.
Isn't Lindsey Graham the guy with the cowboy boots and the super short shorts?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all just boot scooting.
Yep.
Just boot scoot boogie.
Yep.
Scooting boogie.
Yeah, okay, so on that note, breaking, Janet Yellen says it's now highly likely the U.S. runs out of cash early June. This is a circus.
Hot take.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm bullish on that haircut because it's a bowl cut.
Oh, wow. Bullish on the bowl
I'll
cut.
see myself out.
Yeah, BJ.
That was it? It's just because the bowl and bull sound alike?
Yeah.
BJ.
He can do better.
You can
It's
do
pretty
way better
genius.
than that. You're phoning it in. We can tell you're leaving.
We're
next
talking
week. You're
about the
just phoning
genius
it
of
in.
simplicity. Come on.
Oh my god.
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Genevieve Rochedechter, shout out once again.
Yeah, she's always. I was gonna say I pull her tweets all the time. It probably seems a little bit redundant, but here it is. U.S. default is possible this Friday. I read the story yesterday about their cash on hand compared to their debt. Basically, they've got what, 60 billion compared to their trillions in debt. That's the equivalent of an individual having $1,000 of cash when they have almost $600,000 in debt. That's the situation we're at right now.
Average.
Yeah, on average. Good luck spending that or fixing that. If spending continues at the current elevated pace, the balance will be negative 18 billion by Friday. So that's why I said could be empty by Friday. It's
Will
not looking
Ukraine
good.
bail us out with all the money we gave them?
Clearly.
Yeah, we just need some of that money back. Hey guys, you know all that money, free money we've been sending out. If you could send some back our way, we'd really appreciate it.
I don't know if we would look at the track record of what's happened to every other insurgent after we've hooked them up. What happens?
Yeah.
Not pretty.
Well, that's the good thing is we can always just print more. That's what happens. Is we can always just print more. It makes what we just sent out worthless or worth less, literally. You know, and that's what they've always tend to do because the alternative is raise taxes. The alternative is spend less, cut jobs, cut spending, which makes people upset. It causes pain. And this current monetary policy is one that says let's avoid pain at all cost. Let's try to kick the can down the road, make the future people pay the price for what we're doing right now. Let's obfuscate all responsibility from ourselves to whoever's holding the bag next. And it's working for the people people making the rules, for the people close to the center. It's been working up until this point, and it's getting harder and harder to keep the illusion intact. I think that's what we're seeing right now. people talking about bank walks and bank runs and running the government running out of money because they can't manage their own balance sheet. Ironically, is not even the biggest problem we have right now. It's all it's the banks and everything else running out of money, and the fact that there really isn't any money, and it's all just a facade that's slowly falling apart very quickly and leaving a lot of chaos at hand. What do you got, Nick?
I just had an idea, and I need to check this out. I wonder if China is turning over their bonds and their debt to get in on this high interest rate bonds, because if they're not, then they've got to be super pissed about all these interest rate hikes.
Yes,
because they are the biggest holder of our debt, and they're just getting absolutely shellacked right now.
They are, and that's why, and that's a really good point that you bring up, because they're like, everybody's focused on the beating that the banks are taking, but other sovereign nations holding these treasury bills and debt are actually taking the beating much worse, and that's really what's going on. That's why I keep calling it trade war, because I think they can't, because they're stuck in long-term bonds just like the banks are. So if you think about the balance sheet of the banks, where they've loaded up on all these 10, 15-year treasuries at really, really low rates, thinking that they, and putting, that's kind of their cash. This is what they've set aside to satisfy withdrawals from their depositors in the future. Well, then interest rates go up. Now they're having to take from those, they're taking massive losses on their long-term treasuries, and China and other big banks like that are in a very similar situation, because they've got the same stuff on their balance sheet. Now withdrawals are coming in, and they're having to sell these things at a loss because they're not holding them until their full maturity. So not only are they not even getting the low 1% that they're supposed to be getting, they're literally taking a loss on it. And that's what's causing so much pressure on the entire system, that is really freaking people out, and they're trying to it's a confidence game at this point, trying to act like they're not scared when truly they are. And then these bigger banks just absorb them, and it becomes a quick race to the bottom, and they don't know where the bottom is, and I think that's what scares them.
It's a great weapon we've designed over the last 50 years.
It really is.
To basically strangle them with interest payments. And on a micro level, like, with the devaluing of the dollar, your purchasing power is less. You can get less. Emergency SNAP payments have ended, so civil unrest is starting to kick up.
SNAP payments?
Yeah.
You mean Coca-Cola profits?
Yeah, absolutely. And now we see those
just
drowning out.
SNAP stands for?
They're they're like
Neat bucks.
meat bucks. You can buy lottery. You can buy
SNAP
cigarettes.
is
Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Food stamps.
But
EBT.
the thing about it is the COVID payments were double what they should have been, and then those rolled back. Now people are behaving much worse. And I actually captured a Suburban in my tree line this weekend. Someone was super drunk and super crazy, drove off of the highway and landed in my trees.
Holy crap.
And
was everything okay?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. I mean, with the people,
great.
were they fine?
I mean, he ran away.
He got a free Suburban.
Okay, nobody died is my question. Like, this sounds like a serious accident.
But did you die?
No, he crawled away into the forest and is being searched for right now.
Until your chicken finds him.
Until my rooster found him. So
My brother, we got a whole, you got to come see, I don't know if you've seen the pictures. We got a badass chicken coop set up at my brother's house.
Yeah.
So he's got his own set of chickens now. I know.
Is it on wheels?
What's that?
Is it on wheels?
No, it's not on wheels. It's serious. It's like a house.
Okay. And he probably bought the cage I sent him. It's like a big cage with a building, like a little chicken building.
No, we had it custom built.
Oh,
we saw this thing on TikTok, and then my mom went and found hey, can you build this? And then he overcommitted and built it. But
they're not poor, Drew.
It's awesome. No.
No, I'm fucking with you. I'm totally fine.
Don't troll me, BJ.
I do have
it wasn't cheap, but it's very, very nice. We'll have to take some video of it, or I want to get him involved doing some of the Druth stuff with you guys.
That would be fun, man.
Or at least brainstorming some episodes.
Yeah, dude, I love it. And like last night, it's fun. Like getting involved. Like just you have a thing you have to do every night. You have to go out into the forest or the woods or wherever they are and take care of them. I saw a spider that was about like that big around. He freaking jumped on me and got my heart racing in the middle of the night. So yeah, it's just a fun way to keep busy. Kids love them. Yeah, keeps you fresh.
Not a big fan of spiders, but.
Anyway, it was spicy.
But chickens and goats, that's good.
Isn't that a thing? Chickens and goats? Well, never mind. That's a thing somewhere. Kids will eat ivy too. I don't know. It's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
If you guys have any ideas for good episodes of things we could talk about on the Druth, topics, suggestions, your tinfoil hat theories, anything like that, drop it in the comments and put hashtag Druth in it, and we will look through those and try to find some really good ideas. We've got a lot already brainstormed up. I know you just shot one today, so we're going to start doing more and more of those. But I'd love to hear, like, if you guys have a crazy theory or an idea you'd like to see us dig into. I mean, it can be off the wall. It can be, BJ and I were talking about some crazy stuff going on in Miami and Brickell beforehand. It can be conspiracy. It can be blockchain related. Keep it generally blockchain / preparing for the future. If you're thinking blockchain bunker, it's going to stay within that. If you're talking about getting ready with chickens, or if you're talking about, I have a one. I don't know. I think I'm going to touch on it here today.
Ethereum being used as a scapegoat to scare everybody in crypto after they rug it.
No. I mean legitimate theories.
Hey, that's a good one.
Hey, TJ, I got a lot of good responses yesterday. People want a blockchain basement breakdown of all of the cold wallets so we can get our hands on all the weird ones.
Oh, just anything.
Like Ellie Pal, the Keystone, the ones that you don't see.
Keep Key. I wonder how many everybody could name. Keep Key, that's Shapeshift's one. I used to have a cool wallet. Cool. Shout out to anybody who's ever used a cool wallet back in the day. It was the first one that was actually like a little a card, and it was really cool. It was
they want a gear review. They want that.
Okay, we can just do some of those like pre-record, almost like unboxing. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, just make your own Raspberry Pi.
You did. That's
a while ago.
Yeah, you should do. Maybe you could be the one who does some of those tech reviews, like wallet reviews. Or
I got to code some more.
No. You don't have to do all. I'm just saying unboxing and.
This is fun though. We get to look into other options now that we've been, shown that Ledger doesn't care about us. We get to expand our horizons.
Okay, so going back to our favorite news source that we all know and love and trust when it comes to understanding the world and financial policy,
the Daily Wire,
the IMF, International Monetary Fund, says Britain no longer faces a recession this year.
All right,
they're probably right.
It'll be interesting. Why? Because they're going to print a bunch of money. Let's see. The IMF says no longer expects a recession in Britain this year. It said on Tuesday, praising steps taken by the government to stabilize the economy and fight inflation, and warning against pre-election tax cuts. Wow. So the government did good stuff to stabilize the economy and fight inflation, while they're actually coming out and saying, just get used to high inflation for a long time. It's not going anywhere. That's the policy that they're very proud of. I was
thinking the British economy's already bottomed. That's why they're saying, there's no more recession anymore.
Well, because you're already in it. As bad as it's already going to get. The IMF said gross domestic product now looks set to grow by 0.4%. I mean, this is all BS to me. The outlook reflected the unexpected resilience of the demand, helped in part by faster than usual pay growth.
Gary Genzer, IMF +1. Get out of here.
Higher government spending. Wow. So they fixed it by spending more.
Yeah. This is
they did
great.
They did exactly what the IMF wants. That is exactly how they operate. Gary Austin, is Trezor no good? Trezor is great.
Yeah, Trezor. So this is another big win for Trezor, in my opinion. A lot of people have always said, like, this, the talking points on hardware wallets have always been Trezor and Ledger are the two market leaders. Trezor is a little bit more secure if you're really about that. And but Ledger has a little bit better user experience. That's always that's how I've described it since 2018 is basically the way I've always described it. And what just played out this last week is that little bit of extra security. It's that little bit extra of caring of the crypto ethos of really truly not having. I mean, the fact that this backdoors existed this entire time is really hard to wrap your head around when you consider the what Ledger was supposed to be as a company.
Yep.
And the people that you just don't do anything wrong and you don't have anything to worry about. The government should have a back door to your house and a key to your, it's just.
That's what tyrants and manipulators say. If you have nothing to hide.
No, that's what those who are complacent with the tyrants and the manipulators say.
That's fine.
That's
completely astrazined out. Just keep
atrazine.
Blame it on the
Just leave the frogs out of this, okay?
IMF, the worst. They love lending money. They're basically like the Iron Bank in Game of Thrones. So the IMF, funny thing, they will loan money to basically any country. It doesn't matter if you're like the worst human rights violator on the planet. As long as you sign like a very detailed term sheet, and none of those terms have anything to do with human rights.
Yeah.
So you could be the biggest piece of shit dirtbag on the planet and have child slaves, and you want a loan from the IMF. They say, well, as long as you only use vendors from Western countries and sign here, then you can do it. And they're not going to force this country or this dictator to make sure that elections are fair. There's like UN oversight of elections, or to, I don't know, ban child slavery. Those aren't parts of the requirements for the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The only requirement is you have to use British, French, or American or Italian contractors to do the work in your country.
Yep. It's all about serving their own purposes. It's all about making a deal structure that's favorable to them and serving whatever purposes they feel like is best. And usually for them, that's the bottom line. Fluffy the Sheep says they've never officially had a recession in the UK. That's one way to avoid the recession. It's the same thing they did here. Just change the definition. Yep. Hey, recession has always been, 2 down quarters of GDP. We've had 2 down quarters of GDP. Actually, that's not a recession anymore.
Yep.
Everybody avoided the recession that way. So,
we did it.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. 1% down on real estate.
Hey!
No, I'm sorry. We didn't do this before. We did 0% down. And we've learned our lesson. No more stated income 0% down loans, guys. 1%.
Stated income.
Are we doing fractional reserve home mortgages now?
Absolutely. Why not?
It's coming soon. No, fractional. Yeah, it will be coming soon. Fractional home ownership coming soon.
Yep. Yeah, you can own a fraction of this house.
Loan on a room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Room by room renting. Yeah, definitely in the future. So, guys, if you weren't, I'm sure most of you guys watching this channel are aware of what happened in 2008. We were up against it. We had a lot of issues with banks and liquidity. We had to print a lot of money. We needed to borrow against some more assets. So what did we do? We went and made a ton of residential loans to anybody with a pulse. Didn't matter how much money you had. Then they would take those residential loans, roll them all up into one big package, and sell them to a government. Sell them, over and over and over.
To Countrywide,
to pension programs, to many, to big banks, and a variety of different things. And then when all of those loans started going bad at once, it all started unwinding.
I love it.
And we're in a pretty similar situation right now. It sounds like they're trying to roll out. We already talked about them talking about 40 and 50-year mortgages, making it easier for people to qualify for ridiculous, obscene amounts of debt that they really can't afford to carry. That's
just called indentured servanthood.
It's so hot.
It is.
Dude.
No,
it's
we're
like the new thing.
Generational loan program.
Loan. Yeah. And
like you said, it's basically slavery.
You mean multi-generational?
Yeah, multi-generational. Saddle your progeny with unserviceable debt for a lifetime. Tim Dillon, the comedian Tim Dillon, actually sold toxic mortgages in the early 2000s. That's how, before he started doing stand-up, he said, I learned how to manipulate people and work a room by selling toxic mortgages.
That's hilarious.
He has some of the best stories about selling these mortgages to these 60-year-old couples in New Jersey, and they could only show that they make like $800 a month. And he's like, look, all you need is to sign here. Right. And it's like, you tell me how much money you're making. Okay.
Right. And I'll tell you what you need to tell me.
Yeah. Here's what we can do. I'll get you the most house you can get.
That's a really good scene in The Big Short where when they meet the mortgage brokers or whatever, and they're like just the typical finance bro, mortgage broker kind of bro. And then you realize it's like, they have no idea. Like they're just selling a product that they've been told to sell. They have no idea really that they're shackling people into, terrible deals that'll ruin their life. Or they might, but they don't want to think about it too much because, that's bad for their bottom line.
Yeah. TJ, do you know what a surf is?
Because you're about to.
When a wave curls over and that white stuff.
SERF.
I have heard of it, but I can't remember what the abbreviation is.
In medieval times, when you were a peasant and you wanted to basically exist within this kingdom and have the protection of the kingdom, you leased land from the government. And so you were basically tied to the output of the production of that land, the farmland, and that was your worth and your value. You never actually owned anything.
Right.
So that's what we're in right now. Who was it? Crypto Halligan says Nation of Renters, BlackRock, Citadel, Vanguard, State Street. Those are the lords. Okay. And now we are all their serfs. That's what they're going towards. It is just a new modern form of serfdom. Welcome to the party.
Yeah. No, that's true. And that's one reason land has always been sought after, and one of the number one ways of unknown or what do they call it? Is it unknown value or future value or something along those lines of like, you know, if you had it way back in the day before things were industrialized, oh, hey, now there's oil. We need this stuff. Hey, your land is super valuable. Or if a city develops around it, your land becomes more valuable. Hey, you can build up. We've got air rights. We've got condos. You know, like there's water rights. There's
Air
all,
rights.
No, I'm serious. That's all stuff
People
that
get
like in, you know, hundreds of years ago, it didn't matter in having land in Buckhead. It was cheap. Now, if you're right at, you know, whatever, Piedmont and
well, it's not Buckhead, but keep trying.
well, Piedmont runs all the way through Buckhead.
Yeah, it
it
does.
does.
Technically not. If you say Habersham,
don't even act like
Yes,
you
it does.
know.
It runs right through downtown Buckhead.
You live in Decatur.
so
right where all the downtown and the buildings are.
Buckhead technically
Oh God.
is
No.
Peachtree to Northside Drive, West Paces Valley. West Paces Ferry to Peachtree Battle is technically
No.
Buckhead.
No.
What they call Buckhead.
We
is
don't have time to argue about this on the stream. We
Yeah.
can definitely do this afterwards.
what they call is way bigger.
But Piedmont definitely runs right through the middle there.
Yeah.
Now, and it changes names a couple times, but
Regardless, if you have
bottom
land
line
around
is, if you had land there and it did, you know, like you could sell really tiny spots where I knew somebody who sold it was basically a 4x4 square for some, you know, just big enough to put a post so they could put a billboard right there in front of Lenox Mall or right there where 400 is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's extremely valuable,
Yeah.
obviously, to put something there now. 200 years ago, it was worth next to nothing, and it was completely unknown. And so that's some of the examples of unknown value of real estate. Now we're getting way sidebarred. So, but that's what this show's all about. It's
Hell
fun.
yeah.
These are the basement conversations. So anyway, 1% down on real estate. A lot of things can go wrong. A lot of defaults will be coming. A lot of people will get wrapped into loans that they can't afford. But this is the kind of financial gymnastics they have to do to keep this current system going. They have to have people. They have to come up with a way where somebody can survive carrying an obscene amount of debt that they really shouldn't be able to carry. So if they can stretch it out, and again, I highly recommend anybody listen to The Creature from Jekyll Island. They explain most of these tactics within, I've done the audiobook. You listen to the first hour or so, it's going to go through the playbook of the rescheduling and the way they handle loans, the way they redo the loans, the way they can create it and basically always grow their balance sheet without ever actually having to take in new money. Or, you know, they're only ever servicing the interest. And that's the same thing that's going to happen here. They're going to continue to get the entire nation, as Nick's saying, into a situation where they're always just servicing debt interest, which is the same situation the United States is in as a nation right now. We're only able to keep up with servicing the debt. There's no hope of paying down the principal.
No.
They're trying to get the regular citizens into that same situation. Many of them already are. And so hopefully, if you all watch this show, you buy Bitcoin, you save in Bitcoin rather than the dollar that's diminishing buying power. Hopefully, that's a way you can get out of that indentured servitude. And that's why we spend so much time and energy talking about it so much, because we really do, you know, care about the future of our nation and our friends and all of you at home. We love you guys.
Aw.
Buy some Bitcoin, please.
Well put.
Buy some Bitcoin.
Right.
Because I mean, and so all right. Speaking of non-Bitcoin, speaking of altcoins, maybe you want to try to get that come up faster. Maybe you don't have the time preference the maxis would prefer. Maybe you know, buying the best monetary policy asset that's ever existed right now might not be good enough for you. You want a little bit more, a little faster. I understand. We're all human. We all do that. So this is something very interesting play that I wanted to touch on here. This is something actually Frank, Tony, and I were talking about a little while ago. We know Render's been hot, and it's already it's on a pump, so I want to be careful with how hard I talk about it right now. But this is just interesting, potentially interesting play leading into Apple conference on June 5th, which is end of next week. Could see double-digit returns for if the narrative catches on. One more leg and markets don't rug. Not hard to find, by the way. Filter for VR category on CoinMarketCap and watch the price graph. So you know, we've been talking about this for a while.
Yep.
He's talking about Render here. Where is? I thought I had. Yeah, here it is. This was a crazy thing.
Right in the.
It says pause and ask yourself which projects are really ready for Apple AR VR if and when it comes. So this is just Apple hasn't said they're doing VR just yet. But Tony D, who works with Frankie Candles, that's all. That's just the same thing on a loop. He's got a really close buddy, and I can't remember where he said he worked, if it was at Apple or somewhere else, but basically told him count on a announcement for Apple VR, a $3,000 Apple VR headset coming that should be announced on the 5th. Now, if that happens,
that's going to crush.
That would absolutely explode. That would put some major competition, because right now I don't think there's a significant competition to MetaQuest. Love you too, Sassmanites.
Like the Vive.
Yeah, the Vive. I mean, there's two.
It.
Those are the two. You know, there's the MetaQuest 2 and the Vive, and there's
the
you know,
Index.
people have different opinions on it when it comes to, you know, hardware and, you know, units sold and all that sort of stuff. But Apple, we know they're going to compete with it. We know they've got a user base that isn't afraid to buy, you know, to put at spend at a high price point. And that's what was so interesting to me. Like Facebook or Meta, their whole initiative is trying to deliver a high quality VR experience at an affordable price point, right? They know they've got to get it in that $4.9. I don't know what they're running for, $5.99, you know, under well under $1,000. They've got to be in the $500, $700. Like, they know where the market research says what somebody will pay console wise for VR gaming headset. And I think it's got to be somewhere between $400 and $800 if I had to guess. I'm not up to date on all the VR stuff.
It would have to be a similar price of a game console.
Like of a console. Yeah, that's what they're competing with. And then they're trying to ship as many units as possible and deliver the best at that price. So it's all about getting the price point down. Apple, on the other hand, knows we can make a premium product and our users are willing to pay for that premium experience. So we can have a $3,000 price point. And if you think about the VR experience you could deliver, companies like what the technology could deliver at a $3,000 price point right now, it's going to be a pretty amazing experience.
I'm so excited for my overpriced $3,000 Apple product to thermal throttle and underperform.
Yes.
So excited.
So excited. I mean, it's true. I'm not a number one Apple fanboy by any means. I really didn't even start using Apple products until I started working here for the most part. But I am intrigued by what a $3,000 VR headset by a top tech company could do today. And they know how to make good hardware. They know how to make good products. And what that will do, because I think that will actually be some of the closest thing to the VR experience that a lot of people have been imagining. Now, of course, a lot of it far and away comes down to the applications and the software side of things. You got to make good hardware first, but if there's not good software to go with it, you know, I always use the Sega Game Gear versus the Game Boy. Game Gear, way better hardware, software, you know, but the way better software on the Game Boy, because I just didn't have good enough games for Sega.
Well, no, it was Game Boy used 4 AA's. Game Gear used 6.
Oh, that's what it was.
That was the break.
And the battery life for the Game Gear was
so bad.
30,
terrible.
30 minutes.
Yeah, because you had full color. It was
color,
backlit.
The sound was amazing.
Yeah, it was just so it'll be very interesting with these VR headsets. However, when it comes to software, the computing power, and that's what brings us back to render. In order for people to use this at scale, the hardware devices themselves are going to have to be able to pull some of the computational ability and storage ability from the cloud somewhere, kind of like we're doing cloud computing right now. That's the direction things are going when it comes to computer processing. There's already ways you can do it in a variety of different applications and plugins, but getting a seamless user experience, we're close. We're a lot closer today than we've been, I don't know, for several years. I think it's going to take the combination. I think blockchain is going to be the emerging technology that's going to break the glass ceiling on things like VR, because you're going to be able to do I mean, I guess you'd call it decentralized rendering, decentralized storage, computing, all that sort of stuff. So again, render, one we like on this channel a lot. I think did I have a story?
I do have some render alpha.
Okay, hit us with some alpha.
They're going to be launching a master node program to where if you want to essentially run a node that does processing and validation for their network, you have to have, I think it's like 500,000 render or something like that. So you will get staking rewards, but there's about to be a huge amount of render token taken out of the supply. So, and there's also talk of a burn mechanic happening to where if you want a high priority rush order and you want to get to the top of the stack, just like with ETH gas, but you send your render and that render gets burned. So there will be a burn mechanic on top of the staking / master node mechanic. So boys and girls, don't buy into green candles. Don't buy into a green wave. Okay. That is financial advice.
Yeah. Let's look at that real quick.
But you need to watch, freaking watch render token, boys and girls. Okay. Because this thing is legit. It's backed by Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams, including a bunch of other high profile cinematography and filmmaking companies. So, and including Nvidia. So like watch out for this thing.
Yeah, and it's getting really close to discovery right now. Let's see, it's sitting at 273.
Yeah,
what is
250 was its resistance, so it's kind of
well, even right here at $3. I mean, if it crosses 3, you're looking probably back up to 370 pretty quick. Yeah. Now again, and then this is a really strong chart considering where we're at in the market right now. So watch it against Bitcoin. This is one that's been most likely gaining against Bitcoin into this market. And SAS Finance, by the way, it's not coming in double on our end. It just looks like that on your end. So other people were noticing that too. But yeah, this is it's a good chart to keep an eye on. I'll say this: I'm in accumulation mode. You want to be careful, like Nick's saying, buying into a pump. With it being up right now, it could definitely. I mean, you could maybe try to get back in there at $1.77, but at some point,
it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be hard. Yeah. So if this is an accumulation market right now, I'll tell you guys, I'm mostly buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's what I'll continue to buy is more Bitcoin right now. I'm just accumulating that for this part of the cycle. However, this is one of these tokens that I think will do extremely well in 24 and in 25 for a lot of the reasons Nick just mentioned. Strong backers, strong narrative, strong team, strong utility and use case, and fits within the kind of the emerging technology with where AI and VR is going on the news cycle. So when it comes to these, though, that's what I was going to say is you do whatever you want. I just kind of YOLO in whenever I start to feel like. Whenever I got extra cash, like I might just randomly, like I'm supposed to buy Bitcoin on Friday, I might just buy a bunch of render just for the heck of it. I don't care if it's $2.75 or $3 or $2.50 or $3.25. Like I'm planning on it. Go back to that chart. I'm assuming we will break. I can't get right on the all-time high. Whatever it peaked out at up here. Looks like $7
over there edging
$8.
Yeah, 7 and change. I'm assuming this is gonna hit. Yeah, I heard you. 14, $21. Now I don't know a lot about the inflation. Where's the
it's over 50% of the supply is out.
Yeah, here you go. 68% of the supply is out already circulating.
These are the metrics, boys and girls, that you want to look at. Don't just look at the chart. You got to look at that circulating supply.
So fully diluted market cap's only 1.5 billion. It's not bad.
That's great.
Yeah, so I see this making a new all-time high very comfortably, easily next cycle, which, again, if you're talking sitting at $2 right now, 273 or even $3 and hitting $14, $20, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good math for you.
Sorry, man said, did someone say long render? Dude, I guarantee if you long render, I guarantee there will be price action.
Yeah.
Well, like we saw the Mana news, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Mana came out with the Apple news, and then we saw these whispers of Apple and
Whispers of Apple.
Whispers of Apple. It made me think metaverse narratives coming back for a few months.
Same.
We might see a metaverse squeeze or a metaverse narrative, and
that's
the future of life is here.
The first person that can make the first Pokemon Go AR headset, come on.
Pokemon Go is kind of dying. Like people are
something
fun
like
in Pokemon
that.
Go.
Potter, whatever the Harry Potter thing is, if you can do that in AR, and you have your little wand, and you can see your little deletus fetus spells or whatever.
That guy that crashed and ran away and destroyed my property.
Yeah,
he left behind a bunch of really good Pokemon cards.
Really?
In my forest.
Isn't that
That's
weird?
crazy.
So wait, there was a loot drop?
There's a loot drop. It was like a video game. It was just like the metaverse. There was a loot drop, and
wow.
beep, beep, beep. Yeah.
Just some random quest showed up. Some guy died in front of you. Loot drop. Some legendary items.
Here, and just while I didn't get a chance to dig into this thread, and let you guys guess, MetaQuant right here. I'm going to retweet this. He's giving hints and clues for basically another, a render competitor, a smaller render, basically, who's also been involved with Apple, Microsoft, Meta. For VR for a while. I don't know much. I'm not sure which one it is. You guys can probably figure it out. It's done pretty well. I retweeted that if you guys want to go check that out. So that's all we have time for today. As always, we have a really good time hanging out with all of you guys. Manawalk, SAS Finance, Crypto Nick, Sorry Man, MHMA7, Robert Young, Paul Albertson, Ray from the gym, my dude, looking fit. Michael King, Fluffy the Sheep, Na. the Deadwood, Manawak, I already said, Paper Hands, Moonboy. We love all of you guys. Like I said, buy some Bitcoin, share some of the love, smash the likes on the way out. We would really appreciate that. We got about 300 people here, only 100 likes. We know the like goal, 420 likes is the goal every single day. We love all of you. We will see you again soon.
See you at the top.
We out.
Wait, what?